So the marriage equality vote is something, like being passed was something that was like hugely important to Australia at like the present time. Like obviously like New Zealand had approved it a while ago, and like Australia was kind of like just left behind, like sitting there not knowing what to do. I think as a culture we're very approving of everyone and like very easygoing when it comes to people's sexuality. So I think that it's important that homosexuality and LGBTQI is taught in schools, and like how if you have friends and stuff that are like coming out, that like, you know, obviously you're going to support them, but you know there might be like extra ways you can support them. Specifically with like sexual education, I think that that's hugely important, because as like schools are like teaching like how to, you know, be safe like in straight relationships, but everyone ideally just needs to be safe anyway, so it needs to be taught in schools as well.
Okay, first I have to confess that I'm one of those couples that I don't feel like that uncomfortable kind of acting intimately with my other half, but we are controlled. Like it's kind of inappropriate that, to my understanding, whether you came from a Western or Eastern background, to act like over, like you have that line of standard that you something you could do in public and something you couldn't. But I do remember there was a time that I was shopping. I was doing the shopping with my girlfriend, and we saw this okay, I was on the elevator, and there was a couple just standing like a couple of inches in front of me. And you know, like when you step into an elevator, like people in front of you kind of been lifted up, so your eye level was kind of right in their asses. And that man, my God, that was kind of just like his hand was grabbing his girlfriend's ass and rubbing and massaging. I was like, dude, just get a room. And it was like, it made me really uncomfortable because it's just like almost right in front of my eyes. So I have to like, me and my girlfriend, we laughed at it, and then we kind of turned our head away. But like, I think just because that's the fact that I came to Australia for I don't remember, like a couple of years after that, so I will be more playful when that situation happens. But if I take that thing back to China, I think I might have people, you know, like pointing at me and discuss behind my backs and talk about something that a lot worse than what I said, get a room. They might talk about things like, what they were doing, and they were like, with the face of, disgust, and they they felt like really, really uncomfortable, and things were like way too much for them. But yeah, I mean, so to wrap it up, I mean, I'm just like, when I see people doing that thing, I'm like, most of the time I'm okay with it, except if you really, as long as you keep your hands off your girlfriend's skirt with jeans, we're just out of that. Yeah.
Hi guys, my name is Toby and I'm from the southern of China. So today I'm going to talk about how Chinese really perceive sex talk from my opinion. So I feel like Chinese people will get really sensitive when they comes to like sex questions or something related to sex, because like when I was really young, I didn't really get so much information from my parents, like how that's really funny because I asked my parents like how I can how they created me, but some of them they just tell me like, oh, you were abandoned, like you were an abandoned kid, so we picked you up from like, yeah, they picked me up from a trash bin. That's kind of like a normal, really normal answer to the questions in China when kids ask their parents how they created them. So I feel like it's really, how to say, like parents, they don't really want to talk about sex, or even they don't really want to give the education related to sex to their kids, because somehow they will feel like it's encouraging they to have like sex in their early age, or have like premarital like sex behavior. So this is why I feel like kids in China, they need to get some appropriate education, sex education, from their school or even from their parents. Yeah. So